So, hello, Stuard Elementary. I am here with Aletha Sheck, as you all know, and your amazing, fantastic principal, Mr. Shelton. So we decided that this month, Mr. Shelton came to us and said that y'all really were busy and had a lot of this just extra things going on. So we decided to do something fun, clever, a little bit different. And that is that we decided to come together and have a little like coffee talk, podcast talk. You can call our talk, but we just wanted to get together and share just a little message with you. So, Ron, as a past principal, I feel where you are right now. It's this level of mid-management, which we can say we trained for it for so long, but it's this notion of everything coming to us from central office, and then also us being right there on the campus where we are seeing and we are feeling what is happening every single day. Talk to me about that tension that you feel being in that seat when we know that you love and you care for those folks so much at Steward.
Well, the most times that I get that information from the administration building, I try to temper that when I talk to the staff. I need to make sure that we put our kids first, and we put ourselves first, we put our staff first as well, because we need to be sure that we're taking that information and using it in a positive way. Some of that stuff that comes down is very important to us, and it really is something that will make a difference in kids. But how the rubber meets the road on campus is very important to us. And I want to make sure I get that information and spin it in a positive way, and also offer support to the staff. If there's something I'm asking them to do, I'm going to support them in that. I'm going to answer their questions. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that when it finally gets down to the end user, the kids, that it's the best thing for the kids.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think Aletha and I have just really admired about you over the years is this notion of you really want the teachers to live in the moment they are in right now. And so you all have heard us talk, because Mr. Shelton has asked us to, about this notion of the past is the past, and that was your wisdom seat. The future is the future, it's where you're going. But I think that we've all learned through this situation of a pandemic that we can't really plan too far out in the future. So it's about really treasuring and enjoying the moment that we are in and that we've been given right now. Aletha, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I know for me, I tend to, when I look backwards, I think, oh, the good old days, right? I tend to remember it better than it actually was, right? Do you ever do that? So like, for instance, like the favorite class I ever had, they never misbehaved. That one I had back in 2005, like they were so perfect, no discipline problems at all. And then I'll see one of them and they're like, oh, you remember when so-and-so, put macaroni and cheese sauce all over the floor? Oh, yes, now I do remember. So we tend to just kind of whitewash kind of the past so that we remember it as gleaming and shiny gold, right? And I think we do the same about the future, right? When we look forward to the future, we don't imagine, like we only imagine the great stuff about the future, unless we're in a worry mode. But like whenever we're trying to get out of our present and shifting our focus to the future, we think, oh, well, when I'm retired, it will be so much easier. When the kids are more grown, it will be easier. When COVID is a thing of the past, this will all be easier. And we also don't take into account that like real life is going to happen in the future too. So while we're thinking about the future though, I want to know, Mr. Shelton, what are your hopes for the future? Because hope is important. Like we want to have hope in the future, like that keeps us moving forward. So I want to know, what is your hope for Steward and like maybe how you end up this year?
Well, my hope for Steward has always been the same, is that our kids and our staff are successful, that we are able to form these positive relationships with each other that help carry us through whatever endeavors we have in the future, whether it's, as the kids get older. I used to tell the kids all the time, I can't wait to see you at the high school level. I can't wait to see you in college, and I don't just think of you as a third grader or a kindergartner. I think of you in the future. But what we do now in the present will affect that. We can't always predict what's going to happen in the future, but we have to really be grounded in the present in order to really make that difference. Again, like you said, we can't idealize that. We can idealize the past, but the past is over. I've been doing this for 29 years, and I'd love to go back to some of those years, but we can't.
Yeah, I mean, the lessons we learned there, though,
yes,
huge in informing what we do today, definitely. So as we kind of zero in on our message, if people haven't already picked it up for today, so it's really going to be about honoring and treasuring, valuing today, not like take the past for what it was, learn from that, right? And look forward to the future with hope, but like really live in today. So today, I want to know, as we just finished up February, it was the month that you just tell people how much you love them and what you love about them, right? I'm sure you took care of your wife with some flowers or something.
It's her birthday too, yeah.
And a birthday, nice. So, but you also, I know, because we've talked to you many times, like you have a very familial love for your staff there at Steward. So tell us, what are some of the, like, give me three things that you just love about that group of people?
The main thing I think about every day is I don't mind coming to work every day. I love coming to work every day. I get to see these amazing group of staff, some of whom I hired, some whom I haven't hired. They've all come together and they've done what's great for kids, which is the second thing, is the kids. I see the kids every day. It keeps me going. It gives me a purpose to what I'm doing every day. And I guess the third thing would be is that I'm able to grow teachers and see what they can become. Some teachers want to be just the best teacher they can be, or be a specialist, or get their reading certifications, or be counselors or principals. And I think I counted the other day, I have 11 staff members that are now principals somewhere that were my staff members. That's important to me, the staff grows. Not everybody wants to be a principal.
How did you do that? You're barely 29. How'd you get so many?
My joke is that they thought if he could do it, I could do it.
No, they've learned great wisdom from you.
All right, so we are going to focus in on like being in today and living in today. So I'm actually going to use this idea of a cake as an analogy. So I want you everybody just kind of visualize like the last piece of cake you had. It might have been for some sort of celebration, like a birthday cake, right? Something like that. Well, when we think about like what it takes to become a cake, right? Before it's ever a cake, there were flour and there were eggs, right? Some sugar, some spices, whatever it is you put in there. And it had to be all those things, right? That's the past of the cake. It had to be all those pieces, but we don't want to go back and individually eat the flour and because it was important to get to where the cake is today, but it's not where we want to hang out with the cake, right? And then the same is true for like a piece of cake. Have you ever had listen, this is the perfect example. Did any of you, like, I'm old, so it's been 20 some years. I don't know if this is still a tradition, but a wedding cake, did either of you like save the top of your wedding cake?
No, I threw mine away.
So this is a tradition in some places, but
yes. It is a tradition, but mine got eaten. How about yours, Ron?
We didn't even save it.
No, okay, well, I did. Let me tell you, I saved the top of my mom saved the top of the wedding cake and it went in their freezer. Yeah. And then you're supposed to, at the 1-year anniversary, pull it out and taste your wedding cake as part of
How was that for you, Miss Sheck?
No. We ate a bite because, long, happy marriage, superstition, but it's terrible. So my point is the cake that is only at its peak, like right when you have it, right? Like it's like newly decorated. It's not like for the occasion it's meant to be. That's when you have the cake. At the moment you have the cake is when it is at its best. If you save it till tomorrow, it's going to get stale. It gets dried out. And eventually, especially if you have a big birthday cake and only a small family, you end up throwing away half the cake because it just gets like you don't want to eat it anymore. So just like the cake, we don't want to put too much of our energy into the past where it was the flour and the eggs. Same true for our lives. We needed those lessons that were in the past, but we don't want to put too much of our energy in the past. Just like we don't want to save like what was meant to be for today. We don't want to save that thinking, oh, well, someday, well, maybe tomorrow, someday it'll be better, when it's really meant for today. So I have a little graphic. Andra, do you have that you can? So this is a kind of a fun little house. And you can see where it says, like, you know, today's the day, right? Live in today. But yesterday is the foundation of today. Like we needed yesterday in order to build what we have today, right? And then at the top, you can see tomorrow, right? We're pointed towards tomorrow because what we do today does impact what happens tomorrow. Just like Mr. Shelton was talking about with the kids, what we do with them today matters because it influences who they are tomorrow, right? So we want to point our trajectory towards tomorrow, but where we get to live and enjoy the blessings that life has to offer is in today. And so there's this fun little fact that the letters in between the T and the Y on today spell out this word Oda. And in Turkish, that is a word that means room. And that's where we get to live. We live in living rooms, bedrooms, classrooms. Sometimes we feel like we live there, but that's where life happens. And that's what we get to enjoy. So Andra, you can stop sharing that now. That is our message for today. So what do you think about that? Any comments?
It's a great message. We all have to be reminded about today, for sure.
You didn't know you were going to learn Turkish today, did you, Mr. Shelton?
No.
Just that one word. That's all I know. Yeah.
So, Mr. What would you like to leave the staff with today as we kind of end and we'll end our little podcast? I'm not sure what we'd call it, but anyways, end our little coffee talk here, if you will.
I just want to remind them all of it. What's important is today. That's what matters. Who's in front of us, who's beside us, fighting with us, helping us, encouraging us. And that's what we need to live for today. But I think we have a surprise for them too, don't we?
What do you have? What do you
have?
Aletha, what did Mr. Shelton arrange for Steward, Aletha?
Well, Mr. Shelton, tell him what you got.
We have some cakes for y'all from Nothing But Cakes to kind of illustrate the point that today is what matters. So we want you to eat these today. You have to eat them right now. We're going to watch you eat all of them. Not all of them. One each.
That is perfect.
I know. Let those be a reminder to you when you do get your Nothing But Cake that Mr. Shelton arranged for you all. Let that be a reminder that we live in today, and let that just be like a physical reminder that you live in today and you get the most beauty out of today and when today is possible. So stop, smell, taste the goodness that's around you, but live and enjoy and celebrate today. So until we see you again, Chance to Soar wants to thank all of you at Steward for being a teacher right now. We know that's not easy, but we know one thing: you all are doing it with this unconditional love for kids, and we want to thank you for that. Mr. Shelton, we want to thank you again for being this amazing, amazing principal and just loving on your staff. Not many individuals do that to the level you do. So we just want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. They're easy to love.
All right, so be blessed. Have a great March and a start to, I guess, spring and where we are.
Yes. Yeah.